Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? My name is Kyle, you know me as Dragonmar, and welcome to a new video. Today's video is on my climb to GM last season, playing a brand new hero, which was Zarya. I now consider Zarya as one of my go-to heroes, one of my favorites for sure, and in this video I'll be explaining the methods I use to climb and carry games, as well as a bunch of tips for playing Zarya in ranked. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you learn something new. Let's get started. Tip number 1 is to build Graviton Surge as fast as you possibly can. So I actually struggled with building Grav in my beginning games in particular, and it's because I just wasn't putting enough pressure on the enemy team and I was playing a little too passive. Generally, the Zarya in the game who gets Grav first will most likely win that fight and or the point. This is particularly important on King of the Hill maps, where you really are only going to have a few opportunities to actually capture that point before that round is over. Grav is by far a carry ultimate. Huge Gravs will win points, and was a major reason as to why I maintained over a 60% win rate. Now, tip number 2 is about getting that charge to get your Gravitons, which is that enemy D.Vas are really just free ult charge. So D.Va is seeing a lot of popularity again in professional play and in ranked. She's definitely one of the go-to off tanks for DPS or just when your team is lacking a tank. Because of this, a lot of those players tend to play a bit too aggressive because they really just think they're these huge DPSs with absolutely no downside because now they have a ton of health. The problem is, if you play Zarya, you know all you have to do is hold left click down and those D.Vas are not going to be able to do anything. You have to remember that D.Va's defense matrix will not block your left click, it will block your right click and your ultimate, so you have to obviously be careful of that. The strategy here is to engage her on relatively high charge. You want to be around mid actually, about 40 charge with your personal shield up. When you engage her, she'll most likely fire missiles. That's really what they all do regardless. Simply pop up your barrier. You're going to get another 40 charge from that because she can't cancel her missiles. And you're either going to force that D.Va to the retreat or you're going to kill her. And either way, you're farming a ton of ult charge. Tip number 3 is the perfect time to Graviton. Now, I think we can all agree that we'd love to get 6-man Gravs every time when we hit Q. The problem is that really doesn't happen. I'd say I only got a 6-man Grav a handful of times over the course of my entire season, which was easily over 150 plus games on Zarya. It doesn't mean I'm bad, they just aren't common. You want to look for something I like to call high value Gravs, which would include high value heroes. Now, these could be ulting heroes like a Soldier's Aimbot or Genji's Dragon Blade. They can also be just overpowered heroes in general. Yes, I mean Mercy. You gotta remember, the amount of people in the Grav isn't actually important. It really isn't at all. Did you pull in 3 tanks? Okay, good for you. You probably aren't going to kill them. However, did you pull in a Mercy and a DPS? Okay, that was probably worth it. Now, tip number 4 is to communicate your Grav to your team. This is really just a communication tip in general, but it's a huge reason as to why I was so successful with the Gravs I did land. Now, being vocal with Zarya is important because her Grav is only 4 seconds. So by the time you shoot it and your team locates it, sometimes they can waste about half of that time, 2 seconds just looking for it. And at that point, that's a lot of lost DPS. This is the difference between a full team wipe and absolutely no kills. And remember, Zarya sometime will Grav with about half their ammo in their gun. I've done this, which means they really need your help to follow up or your team's help. So look for that when you're either playing Zarya, make sure you communicate, or look for your friendly Zarya's Gravs. Now, tip number 5 is about de-meching the enemy D.Va and always having the Genji located before ulting. There is no such pain or shame compared to when you have a Grav reflected by Genji or eaten by D.Va. Your team just looks at you like you are a monster and you feel terrible. Now, you have to specifically ask your teammates to help you burn D.Va so you can ult. I always say, hey guys, let's kill that D.Va first and then I can ult into this fight. Almost always they'll agree with me and they'll help me do it. Now, as long as you just keep your eye on Genji, that's really all you have to do. You don't have to kill him before a fight. He's a little more tricky to actually kill. If you can't de-mech the D.Va with your Graviton, try not to telegraph when you're going to use it. Generally, bad Zaryas will stare at the ground or suddenly become super aggressive, which is a huge giveaway. Tip number 6, Zarya is a bit support-esque, and she can use those qualities to help carry bad teammates. Now, we all get bad teammates. I'm sure we've all been the bad teammate, and these players tend to get out of position a lot. Now, Zarya's friendly bubble can actually save them. A lot of the times you're going to see this helping with people who get hooked by Roadhog, or might find themselves slightly out of position, turning around and trying to run back to you. You can just put a bubble onto them, and also this is going to get you a lot of charge. Now, tip number 7 is about maintaining high charge throughout the game. This is the reason I did not play Zarya for a long time. It is not easy. It is something that only good Zaryas will do, and it is something you have to learn over time. So I would not have been able to climb. I would not have a 60+ % win rate if I could not maintain a higher charge throughout my games. And to do this, you have to think of every opportunity to take massive damage as free charge. Friendlies getting hooked by Roadhogs, Junkrat's popularity with his spam, all of that are great ways to build charge. You also can ask your teammates by being vocal, hey, can you please step in front of this? I need charge for my, to help build ult. So anytime a D.Va is bombing you, I'll show that in this video multiple times, that you can put your personal bubble up and you'll gain an instant 40 charge and you will not die to her D.Va bomb. Now my only tip is to just wait until the last second before it breaks, because before the bomb explodes, because people can break your shield before that, in which case you'll die and you'll look like an idiot. And tip 8 is my golden rule of climbing. It's about abusing the bad Mercy players. I don't mean that all Mercies are bad, trust me, they're not, but I made a living off of taking them out of the game. Now there's a technique I use and a rule of thumb for grabbing. First and foremost, teams play around their Mercies, and you have to remember that. They're more aggressive because they know their mistakes can be easily forgotten when she presses Q. It's your job to make them suffer. So here are the steps I used and my thought process. First, I locate the enemy Mercy. Second, I find the D.Va and the Genji if they have them. Third, I engage the enemy team while keeping track of the Mercy. Fourth, I ask, can I get the Mercy in this grab? If yes, I ult. If not, I go to step 5, which is I burn down an easy target. If they do have a D.Va, normally this is the stage where I'll burn her down as long as she already wasn't a problem. If she was near the Mercy, I would always go for her first, and I would skip any option of grabbing because I just do not want my grab to get eaten. And obviously, the sixth step is if Mercy pops Valk, go for the grab. If not, I would suggest holding and just keep on DPSing. The idea for me was to get Mercy in my grab at all costs. I know I lost games because of this philosophy, but I also know that I won them because of it, and I won a lot more games than I lost. I'm not claiming it's perfect. I also didn't stick to it 100% of the time. I think that's part of being a good player, is you have to understand when to abandon, maybe your go-to method of winning and try other strategies. Some games, it just won't work. My biggest play was always waiting for an enemy to dive, watching a Mercy pop Valk and fly into my already sent out Graviton. Sometimes they would Valk inside the Grav, other times they would hold their Valk and die. But regardless, taking Mercy out of the game is my biggest tip for climbing with Zarya right now. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. Give Zarya a shot. I swear she is unbelievable in this Mercy meta when you can get her in your Grav. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy, and peace.